Bert, 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 Bert! Get him, yeah! Ron Babe was right. Ron Babe was right.
I'm feeling spry. Hey everybody, it is the 15th of October, which means you either been on a trip, you're on a trip, or you're looking forward to the next trip. That's kind of where I'm sitting right now. I'm looking forward to my next trip. I'm heading to South Dakota here, about 8 days from now. And you know what it's like. It's that anticipation. You get a pep in your step. You get all your house chores done. I'm getting everything. I'm getting more honeydews done this year because I want to go out there and just have a good time with my friends and my dogs, and go see places that I've either been to or fields I haven't been to. That's why we all do this. I mean, really. I know not everybody can get a big trip, and I know some people are right in the middle of having a baby, or they got a newborn and they're going to miss the season. But let me tell you, overall, you just stick to it. You're gonna get those trips, and you're gonna have you're gonna have those memories that will never ever. It's not like what does Steve say? He says no one ever brags about a roller coaster ride. Okay, somebody else made that for you. You're like, wee, big deal. You go on a hunting trip with your friends. It doesn't matter if it's a weekend, one day, or a week-long trip out west or out east or down south. Doesn't matter. That's what we live for. And when you can get it done, it's just icing on the cake. And it's kind of why the podcast has been coming out in the middle of the week. I've been busy. My guests that I have lined up are busy. In fact, one had to cancel, and I had to thank Jennifer for coming on to this podcast. I called her not less than 3 days ago. And I said, Jennifer, I'm in a bind. I don't know where you're at. I know you're on a month-long hunting trip, but you need to find a Wi-Fi so we can do a podcast. And she said, what do you want to talk about? And I said, hunting, our dogs, like the good old-fashioned just podcast conversation. And honestly, it felt like I just pulled up to her bird camp. We dropped the tailgate, and we just started chatting. That's what I love doing. That's why I started this podcast. Now, with that comes, growth and sponsors, and you got to listen to this. It'll be the quickest one you ever heard. The title sponsor of this show is OnX. I know everybody that's listening to this probably has that on their phone and on their dashboard. Gunner Kennels, W Supply, Garmin, Canine Athlete, Mossberg Shotguns, Boss Shot Shells, Purina Pro Plan, Marshwear, Arxis USA Boots, and of course my biggest, I'd say my most addictive sponsor is Watermark Brewery, but that's just on a personal level. But my biggest and oldest sponsor is Patreon. The people who join Patreon, I had somebody write me the other day, and he wanted to know what the difference was in the $5 and the $10 levels to join. I said, not much. You're still going to get me. You still get my phone number. You still get access. You still get the Zoom rooms. You get all that. And I just want to thank all of you that are patrons that listen to the show, even if you don't access the Zoom rooms because you got basketball practice or wrestling practice or flag line. I went through all that. I get it. But I want you to know I appreciate you for being patrons of this show because you are my oldest and my biggest sponsor. Now, I will tell you, Watermark Brewery is my most tasty sponsor, but other than that, it's Patreon. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Jennifer and I. It felt good. It got me ready to get on another trip, and talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers to you, Jennifer.
Cheers.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Jennifer. I had a guest lined up, and sometimes I have two or three. Oh, she's on the bourbon. She's on the whiskey tonight. Sometimes I have two or three in the bank, and the hunting time season comes, and I'm always behind the eight ball to get a guest on. And I love having Jennifer Broome on. We've had her on talking about her book, Mastering Canine Communication. We talked about her book, Lead, Don't Follow, which is my favorite book because I think that's the biggest mistake so many people make is let their dog take the leadership role. We're not going to go into all your accolades like, yachting and equestrian and all that other stuff, Jennifer. But you're doing me a big favor because I owe my listeners a podcast and I have some questions that I think are relevant to the season and to your experience. But Jennifer, first of all, give me the list of dogs you took with you because sometimes they're not your own, right?
Right.
And uh, kind of a state by state route. You're on is this your biggest trip since I've
This
known
is
you? It's a
this is
big
the
one.
big. Usually this trip is 3 weeks, and this way here I made it 4 weeks, and I actually have to look at the calendar to see when I left because I
How
left.
long it's been.
I left Connecticut Friday, September 26th. My husband was with me. We had 6 dogs on the road. Took us 34 hours. We did
Oh,
30, that was it. To go to visit and stay with Rick Smith and Kay, his wife, in Montana, South Central Montana. And we made a little bit of a trip about it on the way. We visited Mount Rushmore, which was really fun, and just did some visiting. But all our personal dogs, we have 3 German short hair pointers, 2 Labrador retrievers, and a cocker.
Betty.
So that's
Betty, my favorite.
Betty Cocker.
Betty
Yep.
Cocker.
And
Hate
Betty
Betty.
Cocker. Yep. Betty's got she has been a hoot. I've got a little brag about Betty. I started field trialing with her and I ran my first and I screwed up and it was a great learning experience. And Cocker, to me, the spaniel trials are so much like upland hunting. So it's so cool compared to, I've trialed and hunt tested pointing dogs. I've trialed and hunt tested retrievers. I've
Right.
hunt tested spaniels, and now like this trial for spaniels. It was so cool. So I learned a lot. And in my second trial, we took 4th place all age
No,
against some real great competition, and that actually qualified us for the nationals in Minnesota the end of the month. But I'm not going to stay. That would add a whole nother week to this trip, and I need a lot more to my resume for handling to be successful yet, in my opinion, for cocker trialing. We got a lot of work to do.
well, we're going to touch, you and I will get on so many different rabbit holes. When you said the couple times I've kind of watched it, I've never been to a spaniel trial or a cocker or a springer spaniel trial, but you're right. I think the dogs are just as animated in those competitions as they are in hunting situations, right? It's,
Yeah.
it's like it's like just like live hunting almost because you've done all the retriever training and trials and there's a lot of obedience and there's a lot of order to it, right? And
Yeah.
and you've done all the way you've gone all the way to the invitational in NAVDA. There's a lot of obedience to a lot of
Oh,
stopping.
yeah.
But the Cockers trails that I've watched and only on YouTube, it looks like go. Right.
So I had actually never even seen a cocker trial. The one that I ran in was the first one I'd ever seen, but I know I was in line with all the guys and everybody. The camaraderie, the sportsmanship was so beautiful. It was such a great group of people. My first one I did in New Jersey. And I mean, I just asked everybody I could. I'm like, I have a question. So what if this happens? And what if that happens? And I mean, I was learning on the fly and I bring a little too much of my retriever discipline into the cockers. I mean, Betty Cocker can do almost 100-yard land blinds because I do that training with her, which they need to
Right.
be able to do. And she actually needed to do it in the trial. She had a big blind retrieve she had to do. But I actually called her off of a bird when she was birdie. And I was more worried about her getting to the center line and poaching on the next. So I called her and I turned her. And the judge said to me after, he's like, I wanted to grab the back of your shirt and be like, stop turning her, let her go. I was trying to micromanage her too much. And
Yeah.
I realized that she's actually more disciplined, than she has the drive. Well, I mean, she's got a ton of drive, but she doesn't want to screw up. So I learned a whole bunch on the fly, and I've got so much more to learn because they are a hoot. They're a
Yeah.
hoot. Love them. Great people.
I'll never, yeah, I've got to get to one. And I'm not saying I'll try to do it, but because everyone knows I trained dogs maybe 20 years ago, only my own dogs. My last batch here, I love every one of them to pieces, but they're spoiled and they're not well trained. But
Yeah.
this is one of the subjects because you're a professional trainer, and we're not going to go down all the accolades, but you take things very seriously. I've hunted with you. You even to your feeding system of your
Yeah.
dog. Okay, you take things
4 weeks on the road with Raw.
and I kind of wanted to make this a little bit about, um, how does your training affect your hunts? And there's always the new people, right? I mean, there's always people they see things on Instagram or they listen to a podcast and they want to go, whether it's
Yeah.
Montana or North Dakota, South Dakota, Kent, whatever it is. And they're going out there kind of like you could say to a gunfight with a knife in their pocket. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So, what is it about the training? Does that give you a piece of confidence while you're hunting? I
Sure.
don't mean
Well,
just a road, like stopping them for a road, but just the overall hunt day. Can you picture what it would be like with an untrained dog?
oh my gosh.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah, yeah, because honestly, I've met up with some great old time friends out here. And you know me with my quiet cue system and real quiet handling and just having the dogs cue off, especially my movement.
yeah.
And I met up with a dear friend. And actually I'll call him out on it because he says it's Dale Spartus, and he's was one of the foremost photographers in the entire country for sporting dog covers and everything.
Oh,
He's retired
yeah.
now.
His
Dale.
name is his. He did every picture on every
Yeah.
Upland magazine cover
Dale's
back
a
in the
dear
day.
friend of mine, and as Dale said, I've made him a lot of money over the years because of the element of training I have in my dogs. I could get one of my pointing dogs on point. He's like, could you move this leg a little? Could you move the ear? Could you tilt that? I mean, and they're like Play-Doh figures because I
Right.
could, if I had a bird in front of them, I could manipulate them. So long time relationship with Dale. I mean, we've done Lion Country supply cover. We've done calendar covers with my dogs. And so I met him because he lives out in Montana. I think lives in Bozeman. And he took me. He's also got some fun Airbnbs that he rents to hunters around the country. And my husband was still there, Jason, and we met up. And he took us to some private lands, and we got into Huns and Sharpies. But oh my God, he borrowed a setter, and then he had his lab. And I mean, he was either screaming or whistling about as loud as he possibly could the whole time. And my dogs would just stop and shut down and put their tail down and their ears down, and I'm like, so I would just go a different way. And I, yeah, it was just funny. So, no, I can't really imagine doing this type of hunting or any type of hunting with a totally untrained dog. I worked too hard for it. In fact, two aspects of this. I knew for a year I've been planning this trip,
Hmm.
and for a year I've been working. Mike Lardy gave me the name of a trainer that he uses and another friend of ours is using, and it's actually a personal trainer for hunters. And it's
For hunters. For
predator
hunters.
predator pack mule, and he trains. I mean, he used to train like Navy SEALs. He specifically trains hunters for goat hunting and sheep hunting and deer hunting and
Oh,
bird
okay.
hunting.
Got it.
So I've been for a year doing anywhere from 4 to 5 days a week working out, hardcore, like weightlifting, tons of mobility, like more mobility than I ever have done before, to the point where I didn't even feel like my workouts. I'm like, this seems so stupid. You're working your joints, you're working this and that.
Right. Right.
And then 2 days a week of hardcore rucking with weighted backpacks, which let me tell you, Montana was so hot. It was up to 90 some days we hunted. I had 2 gallons of water almost always on me just for the dogs, let alone my
Yeah.
gun, my own water and shells and stuff. So I've spent a year personally training physical fitness for this because I cycle 6 dogs out regularly.
Right.
And then, as far as I got 2 dual champions on the truck of German short hairs. All three of them are field trial dogs. My two kind of field trial, mess around with retrievers, and then Betty. So there's a lot of training. They're house pets,
Right.
but it's a lot of train. And training for them, uh, obedience, hunting training, field training, but then roading also. Lot of fitness training.
So, but you've done these long, not this long of a trip, but pretty close in the
I
years.
usually do 3 weeks. Yeah, I usually do
Right.
3 weeks. Yeah.
So, is this the first year that you trained yourself physically?
Yes. Yes.
So you didn't
And
walk yourself into shape. You came into it.
and let me just tell you,
Because
um,
that's what most people do. They walk themselves by the time the trip's done. They're like, oh, it's not so bad. You know?
so Ron, let's play a game here. Let me see.
Okay.
Um, name a day since September 26th we left. We arrived the 28th. Name a day and I'll tell you how many steps.
All right, let's do the first day of hunting, the 29th.
19,212 steps.
All right. Next day, would you be a little more tired? How many steps?
17,000 steps. We were hunting sage grouse those 2 days.
All right. Go the next day. What'd you put on?
20,696.
No, that's give me an idea on miles. I know those things aren't uber accurate, but it's close. What is that in miles?
I think it's oh my gosh, I did it. It's
12?
2,000 to 2,000 to 2,500 is a mile
So
steps on average.
10 and 12, 10-mile days.
Yeah. So the most miles I did was 29,000. The most steps I did. And basically like in the past month I've done 384,000 steps, 183 miles I've walked.
Put Forrest Gump to shame.
Yeah. And I'm exhausted, but everybody falls when they're hunting. You know, we fall in holes, we fall over fences. Took a spill today. Mike and I were talking about this. I think that it's this mobility that I'm doing. It's crazy because when I go to take a bad step, my ankle, my knees, and everything, they just go with the flow because of
Yeah.
all this mobility, you know?
Instead of a
Um,
real trip and fall,
yeah.
you have a little balance. Yeah.
And very sadly, a gentleman on our hunting trip, and he's fit. He's such a great guy. He took a spill on Sunday. He stepped in one hole with one leg. As he was trying to get himself out and step with the other leg, he stepped in another hole, heard a pop, and Billy stopped and ended up. He heard a pop. He left to go home. He had to go to the doctor. He's supposed to continue to be on these trips with us.
Yeah.
And he has not only a bad sprain, but a hairline fracture in his ankle.
Oh, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm grateful for all the work I've been putting in, but I'm exhausted and I'm about to leave tomorrow for Minnesota for grouse hunting. I'm going to hunt Minnesota for 2 days and then Wisconsin for the remaining 5 or 6 days. And that's like the favorite part of my trip. I mean, I love grouse hunting, rough
well,
grouse.
and not because it's less steps, but it is technically there'll be less steps. I mean,
Oh no, oh not for
yes, it
me.
should be. It should
No,
be,
and
Jennifer.
what it is it's actually really physical because when you're really going through the cover, you're going under brush and over things, and it's well, Montana was really physical. The Badlands, North Dakota, which we hunted for 2.5 days, that was really physical. You know, with all the coulees and draws and both in Montana, and I was chasing bluegrass. So I went up to 7,000 feet 2 days in a row climbing. I
Yeah.
mean, that's exhausting, the climbing and the altitude and stuff. But grouse hunting is like, you know, under branches and over brambles. And I feel like full body physicality, that is one of the tougher ones. I need really good ankle boots for that. I usually have my Filson full chaps on because I just go full bore through the stuff.
You know, you might want to slow down a little bit, Jennifer. Okay.
Oh.
But I when I go grouse hunting, it's relaxing. I have a friend of mine who sometimes listens to this podcast, who I was grouse hunting yet last year with, and he has about a 6-inch Churchill cigar in his mouth. And he's like this when he hunts. And he waits for his dog to go on point, and he just ambles over. You don't have to plow through every blackberry branch, you know.
I know. This is I had this thought today and this keeps resonating with me, like why I'm so obsessed with upland hunting. Um it is the biggest adrenaline rush for me. Like I am literally convinced that every step I take a bird's going to get up. Like
Yeah.
I just am. And I'm almost ready and I just won't stop watching the dogs and the landscape and what's going on and just seeing everything around you and specifically reading the dogs. I love to hunt solo behind my dogs because I just follow them. It's hard for me to hunt with people.
I've heard
And
you like to wander off by yourself a little bit.
I know I do. But it's just such a rush, upland hunting. You just never know when the birds are going to get up. And yeah, it's like a drug. It's freaking amazing.
And that's not to say that your short hairs don't point and give you warning. It's just
Well,
okay.
but even when they're, two of my short hairs are so tracky. So they're just like, their tails are just going, 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 going. And I just watch their tails as a barometer. So if their tails are going faster and they're getting on game, I'm just like, my heart rate just goes to the roof. Betty Cocker's hysterical because she always looks like she's on a bird. So
Yeah.
your adrenaline is so full force. And then when she finally gets on our bird, she was awesome. She got on two sharp tails for me today. I probably could have should have handled her a little bit better because when she put her nose down and started tracking and those birds were running, I let her get like 20 yards straight ahead and then they flushed in front of her. So really they were about 10 to they're just a little further than I like to shoot. And I missed two of them and she indicated so well that she was on a bird, but I won't run in the field after my dog. And
No.
I also had a short hair on the ground and I was worried that the short hair was if I started handling Betty was going to come interfere and bump the bird, so that happened twice today. And
So
but man,
maybe being a dog trainer is not the best mix for being a bird hunter because
uh,
you think too much.
no, no,
Think
no,
too
it's
much. The
it's
rest of us,
awesome.
going back to my original like thought process was the rest of us are just ambling around waiting to get done, get a couple birds and go back to the garage or get out of the heat because we don't have six dogs to put on the ground. And even when it's hot out, um, I think I was telling you on a conversation when you were driving, a girl came out with us from Iowa this year, and she had three dogs, and they were in
Yeah,
great condition. And when we couldn't keep hunting, she could keep hunting. She
yeah,
just could rotate the dogs
that's
because
what I do. Yeah.
you can hunt in the heat. You just have to, but you're going too fast, Jennifer. You're going too fast.
Oh man.
You and I, you know what? You're all just saying, like when you meet somebody like, oh, we're like a brother from another mother, right? You're like a wife from a different life. But I got a feeling that if you'd have just kept walking, I'd have just divorced you. I'd be like, slow down, slow
I
down.
know. My husband is so cool, and he likes to come on the trip. He's great. He cooks awesome meals, and at Rick's he made multiple meals. We had such a great time staying with Rick and Kay, and but I could like he's not as into it anywhere near as I am. He'll be looking at the ground and
Him and
and
I
and
should hunt. Him and I should hunt.
yeah,
And
I
I,
know, I know,
he would then go to you and say, "Did you see how much fun I had with Ron?
yeah,
We had a
yeah.
great day.
I just
He put on
I'm so
10,000 steps today."
You know what though? It's like how I do. I was thinking tonight. I got in tonight because I hunted almost right till sunset. It's my
Of
last
course.
night in North Dakota, of course. Um, and I was like, okay, I need to feed six dogs. I gotta. I had pheasants that I shot yesterday that were in Hank Shaw's nice brine. I needed to pat them down and vacuum seal them. I shot two teal tonight. I needed to clean them. So I was 5 minutes late for the meeting and for this call, and literally in like an hour, I fed six dogs. I ate. I cleaned the teal, and I vacuum sealed everything that I had shot yesterday.
All right, let's. Everybody knows now that you are certifiably, you're certified. Like, I don't know in what you're certified, but going back to the training that we do with our dogs, whether it's versatile dogs or the retriever trials, how much better your hunt is. Like you kind of mentioned Dale with the
Yeah.
yeah. And it's one thing I've been with people, and I was that person 30 years ago. It was like, dag, screaming.
Yeah.
Like the louder I scream, the more they're gonna listen. But it's got to give you a level of confidence where you can just call your dog back and you
Yeah.
can get the collar on its neck. All
Well,
all those
it's well,
basics, all those
what's huge, you know, it's been again, I started the hunt September 29th. The amount of shit that's already happened. I've had a dog to the vet. She's got stitched up. She's in a donut right now. Yesterday morning started off getting sprayed by a skunk, one dog. Same dog pointed a porcupine, you know, and the skunk, she could have gotten she pointed it, locked right up. Mike went and tapped her on the head. She wouldn't move. He tapped her again. She took a step. He went skunk because he could smell it.
right.
And she got it. She got about a 20% spray, which I
Yeah.
had in my truck. Of course, all the de-skunk stuff that I can do. But the same dog in the Badlands locks up on point. Rhett Hall. Do you know Rhett Hall of Iron Point Kennels?
I
If
don't
not,
think so.
you got to get him on the podcast.
Sure.
He's got draughts. He's got draughts that go after mountain lions and raccoons and they waterfowl hunt, and he does all the blood tracking stuff with them. He's such a cool guy, and we've been hunting with him the past couple of years. And so this 9-year-old dual champion short hair locks up. I'm like, tap her on the head. His 10-year-old son was with him, and taps her, won't move, taps her, won't move, and then he goes, nope, 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 porcupine. And in that moment, I was able to say no, leave it. And that's the nice thing about a trained dog too, is it can help get you out of wrecks,
Right. Right. Right.
but
I mean, even on the simplest of terms, being able to call a dog off a hen pheasant.
yes.
Now, yes, if you live out there your whole life, they'll learn to quit chasing birds because it's never gotten them a wild bird. But let's say our east of the Mississippi dogs that have too many pen raised birds, they get gratification sometimes. They can
Yeah.
outrun a flying chucker. And you've got the ability to not let that, it's already hot out there. If that dog chased every bird that you couldn't shoot,
Oh yeah.
just
No, yeah.
just wearing themselves
So
out.
what's been I really have set in my mind, like I'm here to have fun and a meat hunt. I just am. I'm not here to have my dogs at such a high level that we're training for our trials. Okay. However, living in Connecticut, the only wild upland bird we'll see is a woodcock.
Yeah.
Everything else are really dumb pen raised birds that, even when I go back home after this trip, I don't even want to go hunt the state birds because I don't even want to touch at this point, a pen
Right.
raised bird. And what these birds can teach the dogs, every single dog that I've put on the ground, all 6 of them, actually the one who got hurt, she's been on this trip now for 4 years, but Betty really got on sharptails and really learned how to hunt sharptails, and had her on pheasants yesterday. And so there's so much learning on the fly that they're getting. So I'm certainly infusing training into it because she's actually flushed more hen pheasants than when she has roosters.
Which is
And if I holler sit or blow my whistle, bam, she slams her butt on the ground. Of course, that's going to help for our field trials.
yeah.
The short hairs, they are just blown away with these wild birds too, because this is their first season. They were on the field trial circuit the past
That's
3
right.
years,
The two young
and
ones.
I would not let them. I was so afraid to screw them up last year here. I just was, because they were doing so well on the circuit, and the goal was to get the FC, and I got the FC with the one of them. And this year, I'm so much more relaxed. I'm like, you know what, guys, mess up, let the birds teach you, but I'm going to bring training into this because I'm going to get you to a rolling stop, or you're going to get corrected after the flush if you chase. And so it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. And now I'll put them on. They did get to hunt grouse and woodcock last year, and I'm excited to get them out in the woods too, starting tomorrow.
Right. But you had that field thing. You kind of wanted to keep the
Oh,
competition part of it, the field champion. You didn't really give them their head in the field because
I
you
didn't.
wanted. So
Yeah, I
what I mean, I know this is probably an impossible question and maybe not, because I ran into I remember I was at the Invitational 4 years ago to pick up Tagus, the
yeah.
the dog that wouldn't
The
die,
miracle man.
the miracle dog. And I remember I was talking with a girl I know and a friend of hers. I didn't know her name. They're talking about going out west right after the Invitational. And I
Yep,
remember the girl said, "Well, I'm not going to take," because she didn't pass and she wanted to requalify him.
yep.
And she says, "Well, I'm not going to take him hunting because I don't want to set his training back." And I felt so bad for that dog.
I know.
That dog. So you are kind of guilty of that in a sense too, right? You're
Well,
like, not that you wouldn't take him hunting, that you put him on that path, but what are they like now? What's the difference between that field champion and his work in the for the competition? What's that short hair like out in the prairies? Is it much
I,
different?
I, I still don't love either of my short hairs work yet in the prairies. I just don't. They haven't had enough exposure, so
Okay.
they get really tracky on all the scent. And I could tell all where the birds were roosting and where they were feeding, and they're just stuck. And one point, one of them points and pounces on a meadowlark and actually caught it. Um, they need a lot more birds under their belt for the wild birds because
Right.
they've really just had stupid pen raised quail or chucker.
Yeah.
Um, I think the difference is that I don't kind of care. I cared so I had so much time and money invested into their training and their campaigning for trialing
Yeah.
that I was so worried about them break. I was worried about screwing them up.
Yeah.
So it made me like a little bit more tense. And now I'm just like, you know what, dogs screw up. Let the birds teach you. You'll get corrected for doing the wrong thing. And I'm not upset with them because they just don't have enough hours on their belt of hunting the prairies. They just don't, you know? Um,
Yeah, that's
and
that's an interesting. I'm trying to picture that because I think some people would think like, oh, you have a champion of whatever
yeah,
venue you're doing, and that is a hunting like a great hunting dog. It has all the potential to be a great hunting dog,
yes, yeah.
but
And you,
there's some guy that leaves from South Bend, Indiana, with his pointer and goes to the Dakotas every year. His dog's got that shit mastered already.
yeah,
But
yeah,
he also might not be able to get the collar on the dog when he's at the tailgate. You know?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's that they've been having a lot of learning on the fly. And what was interesting last year, well, and you think of it, 3 years of their education, all their training was either from an ATV or a horseback.
Hmm.
So their job was to go, take a line and go take an edge and hit objectives and go forward. And the only time that they would experience a person walking with a gun is in the retrieving stake or training for the retrieving stake. When then, I don't know if do you know this about the
Yeah,
short hair trials at all?
a little bit.
Because
Yeah.
you're either on horseback and you're pursuing the birds for your 30-minute or hour stake.
Yeah.
And if you get called back in a gun dog stake or the retrieving stake, they take like the top four dogs and it's so manufactured. It's like
Yeah.
the judges, your two gunners, your dog's like, okay, you're going to put a bird 10
Right.
yards out in front of me, and
Right.
all I got to do is be steady and retrieve it to vicinity, right? Well, my dogs last year, like I put them on the ground and they're like, oh, there must be a bird 20 yards out. And they actually didn't translate it to me walking to like actually go out there and cut loose. So it's fun to see them learn. They have moments of screwing up. They have moments where they're doing well. I don't love their work yet, but it takes time. They're
That's nice to hear. I'm saying when you say I don't love the work,
I don't.
because you know what you've been out there enough years, you've been in this dog
Yeah,
world enough years, and to have your own personal dogs that you've campaigned, and to say they've got work to do, right?
yeah.
Like to do this big trip, they've got work to do. Yeah.
And I like, for me, really getting to learn the different dog venues and different dog aspects, whether it was with NAVDA when I pursued NA and then UT and then the Invitational, like I become a fully consumed student, as you know.
Yeah, you
Like
do.
I go to the Invitational, I'm like, I'm going, I'm passing, I'm going to get a 200, bam. And
Yeah.
then I don't know that I will train these two dogs now for NAVDA because this particular breeding, my goal was to produce a dual champion.
Right.
Bam, like we did it.
Right.
And I do the show ring stuff. And then we adopted who retired another breeder, Katie Taza. We adopted one of her dual champions that I had helped scout with and stuff like that. Really cool dog. 9 years old, set her loose in Montana on the prairies. Man, she is a huge running dog, and she's not a tracky dog, and she's a lot of fun. But where I'm just going with this is like I like to get a dog and really go for achievable goals. Whether it's
Yeah.
a retriever making the derby list or trying to get qualified all age, or it enables me to become a better dog trainer. It enables me to become a better coach for my customers, so I can resonate, with what they want to learn. But then once I sort of achieve it, I'm like, okay, what are we going to do next? I
Yeah.
don't need to go to the Invitational again. Let's campaign cockers now. That's going to be fun.
I got a sidebar story. My friend Connor um, he came up to our grouse camp. Now, he lives in South Dakota and he's got a Springer Spaniel. And his dog's name is Ozzy. Probably my second favorite dog that I know. Not like his demeanor, is just when I watch him hunt, it's like just so serious.
Yeah,
So serious. Where I don't always see this. There's a lot of dogs that if they don't get into birds, they can kind of slow down a little bit, or they can
yeah,
like, oh, this dog is, but you know, he takes the dog once a year to Western South Dakota to get some sharp tails. Now, and you shot sharp tails over a cocker, and I have too.
yeah,
It's doable, but we're not looking for we can't have the cocker out at 200 yards checking the other hillside. We have to look at the cover. We have to look at where we're going. My point being, he got the most limits, and I don't like saying limits, but it's an indication of the effort you put in,
yeah,
with a Springer Spaniel in North Dakota.
yeah,
So, some people think, well, you got to have this for the prairie, and you got to have this for the pheasant, and it's the dog sometimes, it's
yeah,
just the work ethic of the dog. And then developing that, I keep going back to where this isn't like a spanking for the people who just go out there. I was that guy 40 years ago that took my first trip out, or 35 years ago, my first trip to South Dakota. Me and my buddy didn't know what we were doing. Fortunately, we had semi-cooperative dogs that weren't trained. You know,
yeah,
they came when they called. We couldn't call them off of a hen. We couldn't stop them at a fence. But we had we had dogs that we didn't do any of that training with chuckers and quail, or
yeah,
they cut their teeth on wild birds. And by year four, I thought I knew everything about going out west, because
yeah,
but I kind of accidentally trained my dog the right way. But I sure as heck wish I would have had some obedience on that dog.
sure,
I mean, just
sure.
for heeling and putting a collar on and come when called. Because there's dogs out there, and I've hunted with people, they literally can't call their dog back in. I mean,
Yeah,
so that it's kind of like we need both worlds. We have to live in the
yeah.
matrix, right?
Well, even
We almost
even
have to
to
live in the test and training world, but we want to live in the wild world too.
I know. No, I really like a dog that has a lot of rules and structure and discipline and obedience, and then can cut loose too. Like even
Right.
tonight, I mean, I this whole trip for me has been so much scouting and on the fly learning, and I've been getting into a ton of birds. I mean, I saw I probably saw 25 sharp tails today. I probably saw about a dozen roosters and 20 hens, and lots of ducks, and shot some ducks.
Yeah.
And um, at one point I had seen some roosters down in a slough. So I brought it, I just had Betty, I brought her in to heel and I'm like stalking and stalking and, and she's healing, like, bam, I send her out front. And you certainly utilize that obedience. It's going to
Right.
help you get a lot more successful. Had I, the two sharp tails that I missed today, had I just blown my spaniel whistle for her when I knew she was tracking, I mean, you could tell when that dog's on a bird,
Yeah.
but again, I didn't want to cue the short hair that was out there because she would have turned and I'm like, she'll bust the bird. Maybe I can keep up with Betty. And but having the control is definitely important. And just for the safety aspect too,
Yeah.
looking at all the things that has happened on this trip from one person on this trip had to go to the vet for porcupine. I had to go, I told you, to the vet on Saturday for emergency stitching for my most careful dog, got ripped open on a barbed wire fence.
Yeah.
Um, bring her into the vet, so polite, so disciplined. Like she just laid down and I was like, you barely even have to sedate this dog to stitch
Right.
her up, and working on them. Um, yeah. So I got to hunt Montana this year and hadn't hunted Montana in like 25 years. And I remember I just loved Montana. And, I get these goals set in me. And I had this goal that I wanted to shoot a sage grouse, a sharp tail, a hun, a dusky, and a ruffed. And I got three out of
Blue.
the
Did you get a
five.
blue?
And I got three out of the five. And let me tell you, I worked so fucking hard. I I went past grizzly bear signs that said grizzlies are seen in this area, store food properly. I went by myself climbing a mountain and I'm walking through the freaking mountain going, I was scared to death. I had bear spray, I had two dogs on the ground. I was in the best cover. I
Oh,
was up to like 6,500 feet. No, totally knowing I'm in grizzly bear territory. My heart is up in my throat and I'm going, your desire to shoot a blue grouse is stronger than your fear of a grizzly.
God. I hope Jason doesn't listen to this because
Well, the funny thing was, he didn't come that day because I was like, I'm just going to take a drive up into this mountain where somebody said that there might be some blues. And he's like, all right, I'm going to stay back and hang out with Rick and Kay. And I'm about 2 hours into my hunt and it's like getting 5 o'clock. And he texted and he said, Rick and Kay are worried about you. He said, he said, I'm not. He goes, I know you're fine, but they're worried.
yeah, I still think you could just tone it down a little bit.
Oh my
A little bit.
gosh. I was in the best cover and yeah, but I shot the most gorgeous sage grouse. It was kind of a bucket list thing. I don't think I ever need to shoot one again. I'm listening to Hank Shaw's stuff. I brined it really well. I'm bringing it home. I'm gonna try to make it taste delicious, hopefully.
It
And
will. Well,
it is a beautiful mature male bird, and it was just so special.
yeah, I got lucky and got two boomers on one trip, and I will tell you the only thing that was inedible was the legs, and it was because we did a quick frying pan, uh,
Yeah.
flour and egg on it.
You can't do that for the
No,
legs. Yeah.
no, no, it wasn't.
As
But
Hank Shaw said, most people overcook the breast and undercook the legs. So yeah, they'll be long cooking or something. But
but
yeah,
also I don't cut the crust off my grandkids' bread. So I like meat. I like liver. I like organ. So
okay,
I thought sage grouse there was absolutely other than when I was cleaning it. Now when I
yeah,
cleaned it, I was like, "Whoo, this is pretty pungent."
it's really
It's
pungent. I'm like,
it's
ooh,
oh, you stinky.
yeah,
You
yeah,
stinky old bird. But
yeah,
on the grill, just right. No, we didn't have any problems with it.
yeah. It
Not
was so
that
bad.
Hank wouldn't have a better recipe than mine, but um, I think if with all that stuff we do, if you cook it rare,
Yeah.
there's nothing
Well,
wrong.
we're gonna study really hard because that is a very special bird. We're gonna study how we can do best with it and prepare it nice. Mike here made some sharp tail legs tonight, baked them, and actually they were really good. I nibbled on like four of them partially for dinner, and bringing a lot of my stuff home. And when you're transporting it, you have to leave the wing on and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. So it's
You-
it's a lot of work.
What are you? So you said something, and it's something, being like the description of traveling wing shooter. I would say I am, but I'll go out and back, out and back. You're on this long journey.
Yeah, yeah.
How are you? Are you from place to place? Are you refreezing vacuum sealed birds while you're there for a few days and then
Well, I
bring
don't
them
have
like
to refreeze anything. I mean, fortunately, in Montana, brined the birds, cleaned them, froze them, got within 6 hours to the Badlands for the next place, was in a really nice cabin, just put them in the freezer.
That's what I mean. You just
Um,
keeping them frozen.
yeah, just keeping them frozen. Yeah.
So a
Yeah. There's
little bit of
with,
planning and logistics for all that.
yeah, with a huge amount of respect for the game that, we harvest. I do go bend over backwards to take care of it really well.
I know. I had a dinner with you guys up in the UP, and I was like, you guys
Oh,
are,
we take it to a different level, huh?
yeah, you're
I know.
from your charcuterie boards at lunch to the
Yeah.
the reduction sauces at dinner. I'm like, God, I just go to McDonald's in the bar and get some
Oh, no
food.
way. No way. We eat really well. It's been a fun group that I've gotten together with, and I always meet great people along the way. I met I met a guy in a store in Montana, and he saw I had orange on, and he asked about dogs, and it turns out he's a guy from Ohio, Jeff B. I forget his last name, but he drew a tag for a goat in Montana. And so he was going with an outfitter on horseback and everything. And he just sent me an email that he got his goat and it was beautiful and he was packing it out. Well, it turns out he's a cocker guy and he
Oh,
hosts cocker. I know it's like, so I have him out, I'm showing him Betty, I'm showing the dogs in the truck. And I mean, I met a new friend. Like when you're such a sports person, a sportsman, a sportswoman, and you're so obsessed with this lifestyle,
yeah.
you can meet people who have the Navda stickers, have the dogs, and we're all family. And it's like this guy's now going to be a friend. He's like, come out to our trials. The guy's place that I'm staying at his parents' place tomorrow. I mean, he's a fireman from Bismarck that we met out here 2 years ago. Well, he takes me hunting out here. He takes me to all his favorite spots. And on my way to Wisconsin, he's like, come hunt with my dad and I in Minnesota for grouse woodcock. And I'm like, yeah. So
Yeah.
like they have this beautiful camper all set up for me. And I'm going to go do that for 2 days. And it's just the people that you get to meet become your family. And we just all live a really great life
I was
that
just
we
with a
love.
friend of mine. We ran to Grand Rapids, Michigan today to do an errand, and we started reminiscing on some hunting trips. And I ended up calling another person that I needed to call. That I said, I'll give you a call tomorrow. And Randy's sitting next to me in the truck, and Matt's on the speaker on the phone, and he says, "You know what I love about upland hunting is all the people I meet."
Yeah.
And I've heard this on so many podcasts, and I don't think I've ever said it on mine in 10 and a half or 10 and three quarter years. I've never said, or at least I'd like to say I didn't say, I hunt because of the dogs. Well, the dogs is it's not an option. Of course, I'm going to hunt with the dogs, but I hunt because of the friends. That
Yeah.
like the dogs, and Randy said, the dogs are the glue.
Yeah.
The dogs are, but it's the friends you make.
It is.
And it's probably that way with fishing, maybe. I don't know. Is it that way with bowling? I don't know.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
if you were like a bowler and you went to Bozeman and you went to a bowling, would you meet your people
I don't,
there?
I don't think so.
I
There's
think
something
so.
about us, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is the dogs. It's like the glue. You said it. It's the birds. It's the camaraderie.
Be,
You
the
know,
being away from home, and
yeah,
you meet other people that are away from home, but then there's always that one connection, like my friends in North Dakota that own the place we stay at. Then we're with them, and it's not a stranger, but it's like they can't wait to see us the next year.
Yeah.
And we can't
Yeah.
wait to see them the next year.
Yeah. Well, it's like this fireman, we met him. Jason and I were here in central North Dakota last year, and we're just slowly driving, looking on Onyx. My God, I live for Onyx, and looking for the next spots. And this pickup truck starts going slowly by us the other way. Well, we noticed that there's a black lab in the front seat, and so bam, we stop. Such a nice guy. He's like fire captain from Bismarck, and we start talking, and he starts sending us here, go here, try this. And we exchanged cards. And then I ended up going hunting with him a couple days later. He takes me to some really fun spots. We get into sharp tails. Well, we kept in touch all year. We were like sharing hunting stories and this and that. And he does all this hunting in Minnesota with his dad on grouse and woodcock. And we got together to hunt this year, and he's like, "Hey, you're gonna pass right by our house on the way to Wisconsin. Come hunt with us." And I'm like, "That's awesome," and I have no trepidation about it. It's just they become like family.
I I I took up what I mentioned earlier that a friend of mine, Connie, came out to North Dakota, first time prairie hunting with her wire-haired visualist, and I invited her to our camp. But where that started was I met her at Pheasant Fest, and we just started talking.
Yeah,
And she told me, she says, I live right off of I-80, and if you're ever not making a straight through trip, you're welcome to stay at my house.
yeah,
I mean, we only met at Pheasant Fest.
yeah,
And what did I do? Called her up. I said, "Hey, I'm in Illinois. I would love to stop short, and I don't want to go." She goes, "Yeah, come." And her and her boyfriend Jake made me dinner, and then we've become friends over the years. It's
yeah.
the
It's
best.
so special, and there's such a
Yeah.
bond. It's just really fun. It's incredibly special.
I think if I could say it, like I always wanted to write a book that said, maybe you can help me write the book sometime, Jennifer, because
Sure.
your little book. The title of the book would be "I Never Shot a Trophy." Picture, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's no trophy pheasant. There's no trophy sharptail. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got a year and a half old bird versus a year old bird or
Yeah.
8 month old bird. But like the title of it would be "I Never Shot a Trophy." The story of hunting. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yep.
maybe that's why I knew I could call on you and you could squeeze this in because I needed someone to talk to about hunting. And I knew you were hunting and we
And
talked.
I'm having a hoot, and I've loved talking with you. I'm glad to be able to help you out, and
Yeah,
yeah, it's been an epic trip.
think about that. You know, if you are just an upland bird hunter, your subtitle could be "I never shot a trophy."
Yeah.
There's no horns involved. There's no
Nope.
scoring.
Nope.
It's just that when someone tells you a story about their hunt, you're almost like leaning forward, go like, I've been there, or I haven't been there. Oh my God, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I just love it. Um,
Where are you off to? Where are you off to next? What's your next adventure?
oh, I look at my the 23rd of October, I head to South Dakota.
Okay.
And this year, goofy as it sounds, I've known that you have to apply in South Dakota for a duck license. One of the few states you have to,
Oh, serious? I didn't even know that.
yeah, you can't get over the counter duck non-resident. But the thing is, that is not a duck destination. It's a great duck place sometimes in some
Yeah.
places. And my friend Connor, a year ago, he says, "Hey Ron, you only got a month to get put in for the thing. If you don't get it this year, you'll get it next year because not that many people go to South Dakota to duck hunt." And last year, procrastinating Ron got on the website, couldn't find the non-resident waterfowl on the last day of application, which was the 8th of July, I believe. I called up South Dakota Game and Parks and I talked to a lady and I said, "Yeah, I can't find the drop down for the non-resident waterfowl." And she goes, "Well, it's closed." I said, "No, it says it's closed the 8th and today's the 8th." She goes, "It closes at 8 a.m." I'm like, "Well, there I go. Now this year, Connor called me and I got on it and I got drawn. So I've got a waterfowl tag and a pheasant tag for South
That's
Dakota.
cool.
And they've had good water, they've got good stuff. And so yeah, that's my next trip um, coming up.
It's funny. I packed my dog truck. I packed my kayak. I have it stuffed with decoys and my waders upside down. I I didn't even take it off the truck because I pass shot or jump shot some ducks, but I've just been so obsessed with the upland hunting. My group here, they'll go out and do the first thing waterfowl hunt in the morning, and I'd rather go find the birds on the roost right now. I'm just so obsessed with the upland hunting, and I've
But
done the waterfowl thing here a couple of years, and it's great. But I just wanted to walk the prairies.
you still packed up the kayak and all the
I
stuff.
know, and I'm like kind of bummed because it was a lot of work,
Yeah.
packing that thing and hauling all over the place. But I'm like, yeah, nope, not gonna do it.
Next year, you're gonna leave the kayak at home.
Yeah, I think so. I had wanted it because I did a lot of waterfowl hunting. We went out. Rhett Hall took us out. Jason and I and another friend of his. I had one of those. What's the engine that doesn't like really have a prop? It's more so you can go through all.
Like a mud motor or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, mud motor, which died halfway out there, and they figured it was so crazy this trip. But we went way out into some pond. We didn't know where we were. I'd like left all the dogs back in the truck. Like it was such an adventure. I'm like, are we going to survive? And we got into canvasbacks and we got into, so I did a lot more duck hunting last year and the year before, but yeah, I just didn't have the hankering for it too much this year. I was all about the upland.
We had two more short hairs that had to get out there. That's
Well, actually, the other thing, we made the trip a little bit later this year. The first year, this is the fourth year. The first year we could shoot pheasant, we were later. But then the last 2 years we came earlier and pheasant wasn't open.
right. Yeah. So
So we
that,
missed pheasant. So basically it was just sharptail. And I love to shoot a mixed bag. So I was more into the waterfowl. But now that we can chase pheasant, I'm like all about the pheasant and the sharptail
yeah. Yeah.
more than the waterfowl. So
Well,
anyway, that's
Jennifer, you cram a lot into one trip, right? Because you get back. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to go somewhere else to hunt, maybe on the Eastern Seaboard, but like this is your journey. This is your vacation. This is your,
Oh, I know. Isn't this funny? This is my vacation, and it's like the most exhausting thing you can get. How many marathons? If I've walked about 140 miles right now, like
I don't know,
what is that? Like freaking almost 6 marathons,
probably, probably.
And oh, and you want to hear a good one, by the way? How bad I beat myself up because really, dog training is very, very physical, and you're training some dogs up to 100 pounds and more that are naughty dogs.
Hmm.
And I got my shoulder operated on in April. I'm getting my torn elbow operated on November 20th, and 2 weeks later, I'm getting hip surgery. I've I've been doing this trip with like a torn hip. Oh
There's
my
something, there is something wrong with it. There really
oh
is.
my God.
But like you said, you're going to go back besides all the surgeries, and you're going to go back to, I don't want to say the grind, but the grind of dog
Work.
training and
Yeah.
what you do at QK.
Yeah. It's a lot of drive, isn't it? A lot of drive.
Yeah, like I said, you're my wife from another life, but we would have got divorced.
Well, you guys should all feel bad for my hubby because I
I
could
do.
potentially, well, I could potentially be on crutches starting December 8th for 4 weeks, and I don't know how I'm gonna make that fly because I'm supposed to rest it. Isn't that gonna be funny?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to have
I'm like, the first question I said is like, when can I get back on my horse? And they're like, oh, that might be like, I don't know, eight
months.
weeks or something. Yeah, months. And I'm like, yeah, no, I leave first week of January for Florida because I'm down in Florida, Georgia, dog training and riding horses. And yeah,
Yeah,
so I got to be able to ride. So
there is some. There's some. You remember that Korean airliner that somebody put all the fake names of the pilots on? This is about 5, 8 years ago.
No.
Well, somebody scammed. There was an airliner that came in, I think, to Seattle, and it came in low, little dangerous, kind of clipped the fence, but it landed okay.
Okay.
And somebody scammed the news radio, and it said um, the name of the pilots were We Too Low, Something Wong. Well, I think with you, your pilot name would be Something Wong.
How about passionate? How about passionate?
I
Yeah.
mean, that would be the other version of it. Yeah.
Oh, it's
But
fun, man. It's fun.
I'm glad we did this because sometimes, we would talk throughout the year and I'll have you back on this spring or sometime and we'll do a Q&A with dog training, but it's fun just to like couldn't hunt with you this year, but we could spend an hour just shooting the shit and talking
I
about what
know.
happened. And
We got it. Let's plan a hunt next year. Even I mean, you said you're leaving the don't make me get a license in another state because I did Montana, Minnesota, North Dakota, and then Wisconsin, but I'm going to potentially be driving right by you the 21st or 22nd.
yeah, but see, I won't be there yet. I won't be in South Dakota till the 24th. Yeah.
No, I'm driving right by you in Michigan.
Oh, in Michigan.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's a possibility.
Would we jump out in the grouse woods for a day?
I think we could probably do that.
All right,
I
let
gotta
me
do.
see. If I come down, I'll go home through UP and then I come down whatever main road that is. You're what are you, Grand Rapids?
Well, closer to Grand Rapids, you'll probably come down 75.
Yep. How far are you
Um,
from 75?
oh, a couple hours, 2, 3 hours. But if there's some planning, if there's a little planning, I've got some friends that over in that neck of the woods, and yeah, let's see if we could do it. Maybe we
Well,
can recap.
I'm all serious about it. The 21st or 22nd, that's a week from today.
No, oh, it is.
Isn't
Holy,
that crazy?
holy shit. It
Isn't
is.
that freaking crazy?
You stay in touch with me and we'll see if we can make that happen because I'm known for not packing a truck real early. And if you need to hunt with me on the 22nd, that's not going to happen. 21st, maybe, maybe.
Okay. Well, let's see what this camp entails for Wisconsin and how long that I stay there. So,
Yeah, because you can change your mind and you can.
and maybe when I'm up to over 450,000 steps by then, maybe I'll slow down a little bit and go at your pace, but I'm
Oh,
not
that
sure.
that would be nice. That would be nice. I mean, you know, I am a senior citizen and I I I don't like to walk anymore.
Well, you poor thing. Well, you better get that shit out of your system.
I have to. I
I
got
don't like to walk anymore.
it's a lot of work. I walked my whole life on
Dude,
concrete
you do
floor.
jujitsu.
That's not walking.
That's super physical, though.
Oh yeah. If put it this way, if finding birds involved wrestling in
Yeah.
pajamas, I'd be a killer. I
The grouse it's you're wrestling all the cover that you have to go through. So I'll put you in touch with Todd, the personal trainer for the Predator Pack Mules, so you can start rucking and getting your ass in shape so you can walk.
you
And then
know that
maybe
I think that mobility would not be a bad idea. I
it's
really
super cool, man. It's
I don't
so
I
yeah,
used to do yoga and I understand like yeah, especially at my age, if you don't get ahead of it, it's going to get ahead of me.
yeah. I'm
And
telling you too, because like for almost 20 years, I did the beach body workouts, which are that
yeah.
I tore and hurt more parts of my body doing the beach body workouts. And when I started doing this Predator Pack Mule workouts, like I would text him, I'm like, "Are you joking me? Like sit down on the floor and roll my ankle around in a circle, 10 times one way, 10 times the other way, and
I-
this and that." He's like, "Just trust me, stay the course." And he has like he built me to endure this trip where I'm flexible, other than my incredible hip pain, which just let me tell you
well, you
how
can't fix broken stuff. That's got
holy
to get fixed.
shit. It's like on a 1 to 10, it's a 8 or 9. It sucks, but everything else feels really good.
Well, all right. You put me in touch with him. Maybe I'll get him on a podcast and put me in touch with
Red, Red
that
Hall.
the Drahthaar
Yeah,
guy that
I'll text you right now.
somebody just asked me about Drahthars and lions And I'm like, I've had a few dogs that I think would fit the bill for lion
Well,
dog. So
when we were in the Badlands, I was scouting and I started driving. I'm like, oh, I want to go up there. I want to try this place. And we went from like the Badlands, which looked like good sharptail cover, to suddenly it got really a lot of trees and pines and stuff. And then we see three coyotes. And I text Rhett and I'm like, I'm up here. He goes, oh, you're in mountain lion territory. He goes, let me know if you see one because I want to put my dogs on it. And I did a U-turn. I'm like, out of there, you know.
I'm out of
But
there.
when we were duck hunting with him last year, we're sitting at the shoreline, we're pounding away at the ducks, and he had one of his draughts with him. I think the dog's name is Dog. And all of a sudden, Dog went behind us into the reeds, and you heard this fight, a screaming fight. And he's like, oh, that's just Dog. He caught a raccoon. And I mean,
Yeah.
I would have been like it was like blood curdling screams. And he just let it all happen. He's like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they do. You know, they're killers. I'm
Yep.
like, oh shit. Funny.
Oh yeah. I've had them people I had people tell me that, they were with I mean, this is a whole different we'll wrap it up with this. I have friends that are coon hunters, and I've had friends that went with coon hunters.
Yeah.
They're like, when I tell them a story about a wire hair or a drought hair that could just dispatch a coon at will.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've seen 4 or 5 dogs and they can't do it. Good coon
You don't
dog,
have a drop, man.
a good coon dog is not supposed to
They
engage.
just
It's supposed to tree it, and the ones that get cut up are the ones that they're not supposed to.
yeah.
Draughts never got that playbook.
Yeah. Never did.
And they just wait for that raccoon to make a little stutter step and turn, and
Right.
it's all over. Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
put me in touch with him. I think that'd be a fun
Hey,
podcast.
I gotta show you this before we stop. Let me what? Hang on.
There goes the hip. Oh, the
I
hip,
know.
the
Look,
hip.
look,
Oh, you got the
the donut. And
instead of the coat.
her collar is the big embroidered collar that says asshole. Asshole, because my favorite grouse dog is full of stitches right now.
Oh, and that's a better option than the cone of shame because they don't catch on everything.
Well, she said the vet said don't put this on because you'll be right back getting it stitched up. But she hasn't been able to get to it. But they do. You keep one of these on your truck. These inflatable donuts, they're called. But yeah, my favorite grouse dog here is ruining my grouse trip because she is
I
full of
got a
full
feeling.
of stitches.
I got a feeling, Jennifer, just like you, she's gonna get out there at least one day.
I am. I'm gonna be.
And you're gonna send me a picture of her with the dog, with the bird.
I know. All right, man.
All right.
I'll send you some grouse pictures and woodcock. They're supposedly hitting them really hard. So
Sounds good, Jennifer.
got some good intel. Thanks, Ronnie. Have a good one, man. And peace out.
Peace out.
Cheers. I hope
Love
to
ya.
see you maybe in a week.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, hon.